Question number one. You when I moved here in 1991, you guys saved my ass multiple times. Just FYI, there was no Pawn Stars at the time. It was just fucking Golden Pawn. I think Golden
world famous gold silver pawn shop.
That's what it was. It was still where it is.
Yeah,
You guys had a window out front.
Yeah,
I'd slide.
I welded that thing up myself,
dude. I remember you. I remember your dad. I don't really remember everybody. I remember you. I remember your dad. And you guys just worked there. Not worked there. You owned it, but I didn't know you owned it, and nobody knew who you guys were. And you guys were just doing your thing. And I used to think, God damn, dude, I want a pawn shop, because you guys must have just got smoking deals every day for 100 years.
I
know you got a smoking deal on my shit.
Yeah. It's and fortunately, I got the first pawn license in Vegas in 33 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How?
Okay. No, because I'm 22 years old. I want to open up a pawn shop. This is 1987 because I'm old. And so everyone's telling me, literally, if you want a pawn shop, you got to wait for someone to die. Then it's $1 million for the license. I'm going like, that's bullshit, because I'm a cocky 22-year-old. I'm not my cocky 60-year-old now. And then, so I go down to business license and say, I want to open a pawn shop. They go, no, you can't. I go, well, why not? So they hand me the city code. So in 1955, the good old boys got together and they passed a city ordinance saying they would issue one more pawn license when the city population got to 250,000. Well, in 1955, 25,000 people lived in Vegas. They never thought it was going to happen. So I started calling the city statistician every couple of weeks. And in April of 88, he goes, yeah, we think it's 250,000. So as a cocky 23-year-old, I go, I know I'm the first one here. Give me my license. They said no, but I got a lawyer. Judge said he was first one there. Give him the license. And it's the 1955 price of $50.
No shit.
Yeah.
So did you have a bunch of money? Because don't you have to have money to give out?
No. We were fucking, it was like, yeah, it was rough the first couple of years, but we got it done.
Why did you want to open a pawn shop?
Because that's where all the money was. Because no one wants to sell their shit.
Were you pawning your shit too?
Huh?
Were you ever pawning your shit?
When I was 16, so I used to go around the swap meets and like buy silver spoons and stuff like that and pick them up all the time. And then my brother would go to the pawn shop for me because he had a fake ID. But that was growing up in San Diego.
Yeah, so when I first moved here, dude, I needed money sometimes. I had a gold bracelet with diamond brads. Mm-hmm. So I'd go in.
Sounds 90s.
Yeah, it was. It was cool as hell. I always got it back, though. You can go check your records. You'd be like, that dude was a good dude, because I always got it back. But I'd roll up to the window and you guys would walk up and I'd sling it in there and you guys would say, you pawning or you selling? That was always your first question.
Yep. I
said, just pawning. Would you give less for a pawn or more for a pawn?
Well, it depends. If you're a good customer, I'll give you more. Or like, it's if you sell it, I generally give a little bit more. Yeah, because I'm going to hold it around for like 4 months.
But if it's a pawn, no. I would have thought it's the opposite.
So if you pawn it, it's like this. So if you pawn something, okay, and if you don't pick it up, I gotta my money's out there for four months, and then usually I give you like an extra month, So like my money's out there for 5 months. If I buy it off you, I can get it right away. Within a couple of weeks, I can sell it. So a little bit more if I buy it.
What kind of deal? What's the best freaking deal you ever got?
That's a tough one because there's been so many of them. But one of the coolest ones was this was probably right around 1990. This is pre-internet. This woman comes in with all these really old photographs. It's a type of photography. All of they're all American Indians. And I'm thinking, I know like postcards with American Indians that are worth money. And these are really cool old photographs. And I'm like, I'll give you $50 for them. I have no clue. So back then I used to have a little notebook and I used to go to the library on like Saturday or something like that every weekend or every other weekend, because I always had this shit I needed to look up. And it turns out they were all done by Edward Curtis, one of the most famous photographers in American history. All the negatives are in the Smithsonian. And I think I got 40 or 50 grand for all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever feel shitty?
No, I mean, like I took, if they were worth nothing, was she going to give me my $50 back?
Yeah, no.
I mean, no guts, no glory. I can't tell you how many things I have bought and it turns out they're junk and like a couple years later they end up in the dumpster. So, yeah.
But I've seen Pawn Stars where like the dipshit wants $2,000 and you're like, you know what you got here? Matter of fact, the most recent one was some brooch, some Fabergé brooch.
Well, that was years ago. That was on the show.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I try to be honest with people. Okay, if I know it's worth a lot of money, and like, there's one of the reasons why I've been so successful. I'm probably the most successful pawn shop in the United States. Is because I've always been honest with people, and and there's that degree. It's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. Like, I eventually got a really good reputation and had just tons of stuff. I mean, perpetually buying stuff. I get people coming in from like Florida. Oh, if I heard from a friend, you're the guy to go to. You're the honest guy to go to. So you can just make a lot more money in my business if you're just really honest with people and just tell them how it is.
That's any business, Rick.
Yeah,
that's any business. Yeah. I think anyway. That's how I operate. But I saw the show where it's like she only wanted a couple $1,000. You're like, you know what you got here? But I would think like, some people be like, 2,000. Okay, I'll give you 2,000.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is like, because a lot of times these people come in and they, and we're not rolling for like 2 days or something like that. I'll buy it off them. Like, just come back in 2 days and we'll redo the scene. Because she had there's actually 2 brooches she had that were Fabergé.
Wow.
And had no idea where they came from. I've had so many weird customers like that. I had like a guy come in once. He had a 1960 bronze medal from the Olympics. And I'm going like, so where'd you get this? He goes, no idea. Dad died. We're going through the garage. This was in a shoebox. And my dad drank and smoked his whole life. He was definitely not an athlete.
How did he get it?
They have no idea. It was just, in it was in the garage. Dad passed away. They're going through the garage. That was there.
What's the biggest time you ever got swindled?
Oh, God, I've been lost of money. I don't know if I'm not more or less swindled.
Or like you bought some shit you thought was real and it wasn't.
Oh, that's about happened plenty of times. I mean, no guts, no glory. Like 12. I mean, the guy had some great paperwork on a Shoeless Joe Jackson autograph. And that turned out fake. That was $12,000. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, different things.
How do you know what shit's worth just from being in the business so long?
Well, a lot of things in my business, if it's one of a kind, you just got to think like, how desirable would this be? And there's just like, it's
what about an Albert Einstein signature?
It depends on the content. Anywhere from like Einstein, like 2,000 on up.
Yeah, damn, you'd think it'd be a whole lot more than that.
Well, he signed so many letters. He signed so many autographs. He just did it a lot.
Because I got one. I'm going to show you before you leave. I paid $5,000 for it, I think. But someone one time walked in here and offered me $40,000 for it, and I said no because I want to keep it.
Yeah.
But
so
I didn't know.
I got some good money for a letter. I mean. I would have got a lot more if it wasn't water damage, but it was Einstein arguing with another physicist in Brazil about he still wasn't sold on the whole quantum physics thing.
At that time? How long ago was that?
That was from like the 1930s, I think. 1930s.
What's that worth? That's got to be worth some coin.
That one guy got like $5,000 for it because I did a lot of water damage. There's also, it's the content, it's the condition it's in. There's a lot of different things going on.
So how do you know this?
How do I know all this? Yeah. I've just been doing it my whole life. I am a super nerd, by the way. Don't ask me anything about popular culture because I'm not going to know about it. I read books. I mean, like literally, I was just in Brazil for last week, and the flights were insane. So I just read a book on Roman coins. Yeah, and I find that stuff fascinating. I read the history of batteries twice.
You what?
I read the history of batteries twice. That's the kind of nerd I am.
Have you always been that way?
Ever since I was a kid.
So what made you want to start a pawn shop? So when I pawned my bracelet over and over, I was thinking, God damn, these guys are getting killer deals. Because my bracelet, I didn't get anywhere close to actually what they cost. So I was just thinking, man, I want to own a pawn shop. But there was I didn't have any money.
Believe it or not, in a pawn shop, over 90% of the people pick their stuff up.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... especially back in the day when there was just zero credit options, you know what I mean, for most people. Up until the 1950s, pawn shops were the number one form of consumer credit in the United States.
Really?
Yeah. But we do get killer deals, and sometimes people end up not picking stuff up. Really, And a lot of times people pawn stuff, I'll go, oh, I'll give you $1,000. Oh, no, I just need $200. Just give me $200. And then, rare, it's rare with those kind of people, but rarely they just fall off the face of the planet. They lose their stuff. And I got a great deal.
Don't you think being in Vegas helps?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I was the first 24-hour pawn shop in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, that's a no-brainer here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to pawn my shit. People don't realize, like, even successful people eventually, go back and far enough, dude, they're pawning their shit. So I was going to say, you guys freaking saved me plenty of times. There was sometimes, man, I needed money bad. Wink, went down to old gold and silver.
Yep.
There was old Rick at the.
So how long have you been in town?
Since 91.
Okay.
I came here in 1991, drove in July 7th, came for a visit, had $3,200 to my name. Spent it the first night, said, shit, I got to get a job to get home. So I went and got a job at Fratelli's. You been here the whole time too?
I've been here since 81.
So you remember Fratelli's over off, I think it was Flamingo, maybe Tropicana, Fratelli's, Italian restaurant. So I went and got a job at Fratelli's just to get some tip money to get back home. Ended up meeting my first wife and never left.
Okay. It's once you live here, you don't want to leave. It's Vegas. I mean, we're like literally, if you're going like, what concert do you want to see this weekend? We have like more 5-star restaurants in New York City.
Yeah. It's a cool place to stay. Would you want to raise kids here, or you did raise kids here?
I raised kids here. Yeah. They mostly turned out all right.
So what's the biggest deal you've ever walked away from, not because of the money, but because of the person selling it? Did you ever just say, get out because someone's a dick?
Oh, I can't tell you how many times I sort of tell people to fuck off, get the fuck out of my pawn shop. There's a few times I actually did it on the show. I mean, that stuff never aired. Like, because this is basically what I do every morning when we're filming. Okay. Tracy right here. Is she on camera?
No.
Okay. Anyway, Tracy, she's my producer, my work wife. She's the brains and I'm the beauty. But anyway, so every morning we go through like 50 sheets of paper, and it's just a little 2-inch like shitty picture from a printer on it, and the description of what the people have, and like done it. This is really cool. This, I think, I'm pretty sure is fake. So they can come in and I'll just dream crush them. And then she's going like, no, don't do that because they're really like that. And then we just schedule the people to film with, and like, but the show is real. I literally, when that stuff comes in front of me, it's the first time I ever saw it, and the negotiations are real. But there's been a few times where people come in and they're just being assholes because they just want to be on TV. Like, I remember this one guy comes in with a saxophone and like, so how much you want for this? He goes like $100,000. I'm like, fuck you, get the fuck out of my store. He goes like, I go like, dude, you come in here, you're being an asshole. You just came in, you just want to be on television. You don't want to play by the rules. Get the fuck out of here. Now when you told all your friends you're going to fuck with Rick on TV, you're never going to be on TV, and everyone's going to think you're an asshole. See ya.
How many of those don't make the episode?
There's a lot of times when people come in and, you'll talk to them for a little bit before we start filming and everything like that. Most normal people in the world. And the second you turn on the cameras, they're like, we're like, okay, we can do this over. We can do this over. And then, the whole scene turns into what we refer to as a stillbirth.
Who idea was it to get the show?
It was mine.
Don't you think that kind of changed everything?
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, I went from like 150 people a day to thousands of people a day in the pawn shop.
Yeah. I've driven by there and there's lines.
Yeah. It's on television in like, I don't know, 150 countries. I mean, broadcast, plus cable. It's, 38 languages, something like that. It's got this universal appeal that's kind of weird because I can't watch myself on television. I freak out. I mean, I start watching an episode of Pawn Stars. I'm like, oh my fucking God, I should have said it this way. I did it like, yeah, I can't watch myself on television. But like everyone around the world loves it.
Yeah. It's been around for how many years?
16 years.
16 freaking years. That's one of the longest running reality shows ever, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that the reason for the success is like, it's not like a show about motorcycles or a show about cars, something like that. It's literally different every single episode. You have no idea what the episode's going to be about.
Yeah, that's what makes it cool. And not only that, you see train wrecks, people like train wrecks, desperate people.
No, I would never do that. I mean, they tried to, at the beginning, they tried to me to do that stuff. I'm like, not going to happen.
Do what?
Not going to happen.
Do what?
I'm not going to make myself look bad on television or make my business look bad. I'm not going to, I'm never going to make a show that I'd be embarrassed for my kids to watch 10 years from now or something like that. So I'm going, No,
I ain't talking about your show. I'm talking about the customers.
Oh,
they're obviously needing to pawn their shit, so they're not in necessarily a good situation.
Yeah, but
because otherwise they're selling it. Like, I'd come to you to sell my shit now, but I don't need to pawn anymore. Thank God.
Well, no, because we found out really early no one wants to be on television and pawn their stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like pawning your stuff, you're admitting you're broke and like you have zero credit. But like, people don't mind going on the show selling stuff.
So it's all pretty much purchases.
Yeah, it's been that almost since day one.
How long does shit stay around?
It all depends on what it is. I mean, if you walk into my shop and you got a piece of art that if you look up, it's got an auction history and it's pretty good, but it's kind of obscure. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is probably going to sit around for a couple of years before I sell it, and I'm thinking I could sell it for $1,000. I'm going to give you $300-400 because my money's going to be tied up for a couple of years. Yeah, at least I'm thinking in my head. But if you bring in a gold coin that I can like pick up the phone and sell 30 seconds after you sell it to me, I'll give you 98% of what it's worth. So it all depends on what it is. I mean, it's the marketability of what
start doing that.
Huh?
When did you start giving 98% of its value? Because it was.
Well, no, I mean, I've done that for years. If you bring me in a bunch of bullion.
Well, I brought you a gold bracelet.
Not gold. Yeah, that's a different story. Okay, because if it's a gold bracelet, okay, I got to write out a ticket when I buy it. Okay, send it to Metro, hold it 30 days. Okay, and then
in case it's stolen.
Yeah, it's like that pawn ticket you got for me all those times. Every time you pawn that, we turned you into Metro and made sure your stuff wasn't stolen. But then. Yeah, and then I got to wait till I eventually got a big pile of scrap, send it to the refiner, all that stuff. But if it's gold coins, literally, it's a marketable security. I mean, I can literally sell it within 30 seconds.
What about watches?
Watches. I mean, if you got like a newer Rolex, a lot of times I'll pay you retail for it.
Oh shit! Even now, during COVID for sure, but like even
now, like. If you go to the forum shops right now and walk in the Rolex store, and you'll see all those Rolexes on display, you just ask them, what do you got for sale? They might have one or two ladies' watches. That's it.
Do you think that's by design?
Maybe. It keeps the mystique alive.
Yeah, because why wouldn't Rolex just make more? If everybody wants them and they're in that high demand, why not just crank up the factory?
I don't know. I think they just like the mystique that it's hard to get our watches and they charge so much goddamn money for them. And you know what? They got their business model. It works for them, I guess.
What's one thing that you wish more people would bring in that you never see? Like if you said, Brad, if your crowd, if your audience can bring me these, that's my favorite.
Bring me your Rolexes.
Rolexes?
I can't get enough of them.
Well, I got about 30 that I don't want. That are just sitting there.
All right, we'll make a deal.
Should I bring all 30?
Bring all 30. I'll pay you cash.
All right, I'll bring them down. Because, dude, I do want to sell them. I end up wearing about 5. So, like, I wouldn't sell that one. I got a Meteorite Daytona with the meteorite face. Mm-hmm. I wear that one every day. This Yachtmaster 2 because I wear blue sometimes. There's like 4 or 5 I wear. The rest of them, dude, they're just sitting in a case and they've been there forever. And it's like, dude, are those losing value, by the way? Or are they holding value?
Oh, they're definitely holding the value.
What about Hublots?
Yeah, they're and there's nothing like a Rolex or a Patek.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think the reason that Rolexes, have held their value for so long, because they really don't change that much. I mean, you look at a Rolex that was built in the 60s, it's basically the same design, maybe a little bigger, but like they have those classic designs, and everyone looks at, oh, that's a Rolex. And it's just that status symbol of a guy wearing a Rolex.
Can you spot a fake?
90% of the times it's pretty easy. Yeah. Here's the thing with the Rolex. Okay. Rolexes are.
Have you ever bought a fake one?
Oh yeah. Back in the day, early on, I made my mistakes. Yeah. I paid my dues. But here's the thing with the Rolex. Rolexes are perfect. Okay. There's no such thing as a factory second on a Rolex. There's been a few Rolexes that got out of the factory with some defects in them, and those things go for insane money because, but like, oh my God, I got a defect Rolex. But when someone brings in a Rolex, all you got to do is like, hands are right, face is right, dial is right, the movement's right, the case is right, the band is right. If everything's right, it's real. If one thing's wrong, we got a problem. Why
do you think box and papers make it worth more?
Because people want that.
Why?
Because they feel as if it certifies something like that. You know what I mean? It's what people want.
Yeah, because
I'm not a psychologist. I just know what people want.
Because I have all the boxes, and everyone said you got to save.
That makes it more. I'll give you more money
like
if you got box of papers.
Got all these boxes in there. I'm like, dude, I got to get rid of these boxes.
Yeah, bring them on down. Talk to Tracy.
Are they worth more with the boxes?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Will you give me 98% of the retail value?
No.
I'd say I'll come down today.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it just depends on what it is. I mean, it's like your business. Like how fast, if someone came to you today, okay, it says like, give me $100,000 for this, and you know you can pick up the phone and then sell it in 30 seconds for $102,000, would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If I knew. So you got connections up the yin yang to fence.
Yeah, I mean, like gold. I mean, gold's a commodity. You can there's so many brokers you can call and sell it immediately.
So what's with the gold bracelet you got on?
This is 1,200 years old. That's a Viking bracelet.
No shit.
Yeah. This was from a Viking horde in northern England. X-ray analysis on it is identical to 8th century English coins. I got all the paperwork where they found it in the horde and everything like that. It's right around 20 karat gold. So the Vikings didn't have currency. They didn't have the whole idea of making coins and everything. You know, why do you need coins when you just steal everything? And so when they got gold coins and stuff, they just melted it down and made jewelry out of it.
So what's that thing worth?
I don't know, 30, 40,000.
You would think, because I mean, dude, where do you get a Viking horde bracelet?
I know it's pretty fun. Yeah.
That would be
I actually got this off one guy. He had like all the paper. I had the Viking curator from the Met authenticate it. So
if I brought that in, would you give me gold price or Viking horde price?
Viking horde price. Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if I believe it. Yeah, how can you tell if it's serious or not? Because I mean, the Viking horde price, dude, that's got to be what gold value does it have?
This right here, the crazy price of gold right now, right around $8,000, I guess.
So it's way more because it's from the Viking horde.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you buy like an antique or like a watch or something like that, you're buying the story. You're not buying the item. Okay, if I got two chairs sitting right out in front of me and like, you know, they're both 200 years old and that's pretty cool, and that one belonged to the Queen of England and that one didn't. The one for the Queen of England, that's got the story. It's worth a gazillion times more because it's got the story.
Do you guys sell them that way as well?
Well, I tell all my employees, yeah, you sell the story. Yeah,
How do you teach them to negotiate?
Well, you know, if the buyer, you know, like when people are coming in and buying stuff off me, you know, they can go to the back, talk to the managers because the managers know what I'm in it and can figure out a deal. So salespeople on the floor can't negotiate. They got to bring it to a manager.
Do you lose money sometimes?
Oh yeah.
Even though you bought it so right?
Like there's never been a business where they've made money on everything. You know, every once in a while, I'll buy something and like, fuck, God, I thought for sure that would fucking sell. Or buy a pinball machine and like a week later, you know, like they're going to sell it to a person and you plug it in and the whole thing goes kablooey and like and it costs more to fix than it's worth and you throw it in the dumpster. Yeah, things like that happen plenty of times.
You prefer like cars over art or art over cars?
No, I prefer like it all depends on what it is. I mean, like I'm this weird business where I don't pick my merchandise. Like some of my merchandise I pick, but like all the stuff, I don't pick what people bring to me. People just bring me what they bring to me, and I got to figure out if I'm going to make money off it or not. You know, I prefer like art and jewelry and things like that. It's a lot less storage than cars.
Yeah.
But I have a car addiction, and it's bad to bring me a car because I'll end up buying it and keeping it.
Do you have a bunch of cars?
Yeah.
That you bought pawn?
Some of them came into the pawn shop that way. Other ones, I just went out and bought. Yeah, I have, I think altogether like 29 vehicles between cars and motorcycles.
Like a collection?
Yeah.
Is it for future value, or is it because you drive every one of them?
I drive them and I love them, and I just fucking just love all cool cars.
Did the property in Oregon, is there any pawn related story to that?
Well, like there's it's all decorated in pawn shop motif. I have like my big game room. It's got a ton of antiques in it. On my 1929 Farmall tractor, which we bought on the show, that's lawn art up there. But we actually fire it up every once in a while. Oh, I got my fire truck up there. I got my own fire truck because every kid in the world always, you grew up, you wouldn't be a fireman, right?
Yeah.
So like I got my own fire truck. I actually need it though, because my place is so far in the middle of nowhere. If there ever was a fire, I'm sure someone would show up a couple hours later and write a report or something. But we have to, if there's a fire, we're gonna have to put it out ourselves.
It's functional?
Yep. 1960 Ford F-850 fire truck.
Damn. So everybody's been watching that show for quite some time. What's one thing like people wouldn't know about pawn shops? Because usually you think, well, they're not going to give me very much.
Well, I mean, like I said, pawn shops have been around forever. They talk about the pawn shops in the Bible, believe it or not. It's, if you like treasure hunting, go around to pawn shops. God knows what you can find. I mean, I literally, in the 90s, I would like fly to Florida because there's a pawn shop in every quarter in Florida and just ship back hundreds of pounds worth of stuff. And this was right when eBay was starting, and I was making a fortune because all the stuff I would find at a pawn shop.
The pawn guy didn't know?
They didn't know.
So if I were in the pawn business, it would behoove me to be a nerd.
Yes, you got to be a nerd. It's a really weird business because you got to know so much about so much stuff. And you also have to sit around and just realize, you don't know everything and just get a bunch of contacts in different fields and stuff like that.
You weren't doing that prior to the show, I bet.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like I had a weird camera. I had a camera guy I'd call up to, I remember back in the day when we would fax a Polaroid. Technology's evolved a little bit, it's just people, I'd have like the antique camera guy that would come in, the antique gun guy would come in, all these different people come in and like I do business with.
Did you ever buy a gun that was used in a crime?
Not that I know of.
Because everything goes to the police.
Every single thing.
Not physically.
No, on my show, when we do make a deal, like, let's go do some paperwork.
Yeah.
So we literally, even back like the day when you pawn stuff, that pawn ticket, okay, a copy of that gets sent to Metro. Nowadays, it gets sent to the FBI and Metro. And I have to, if I buy something, I got to hold it 30 days. And it turns out pawn, which happens every once in a while, because people are that stupid to give me their ID and their thumbprint and sell me something, please come and take it from me. Yeah, and I lose the money. There's no more getting my money back. I'm screwed.
Interesting. What about the criminal?
Hopefully hopefully they catch him and put him in jail. Yeah,
but you can't like restitution from the selling.
We always go after restitution. We go after restitution whether we get it or not. Sometimes I get a check, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't.
So, what's one thing people misunderstand about value that keeps them broke?
It's like, do your goddamn research before you buy something. Don't overpay for something. Sentimental value doesn't mean shit to anybody, but that's one thing people need to realize. And like, I don't know, like some, I don't know. People are fucking weird.
Did you ever pass on something that turned out to be worth a shit ton that you didn't realize?
I don't know. I get asked that question all the time. What's the one big deal you regret not making the deal? I'm going like none of them, because if the deal's not right at the time, the deal's not right at the time. Like one guy came in with some Pokemon cards. He wanted like $500,000. I said, like, you're fucking high. And, Chum was like, maybe you should buy, like, I'm going like, and it turns out a couple of years later, they're now worth like $5 million or something like that. And I get asked, do you regret not buying those? I'm like, no, because the deal wasn't right at the time.
Based on,
because at the time, they were worth like $500,000. I'm not going to pay $500,000 because I'm not going to make any money.
Yeah, you didn't know they were going to be the one.
I'm not like I don't go out and buy stuff because I think it's going to go up later, at least in the business part anyway.
Yeah. So if you weren't running a pawn shop, what's the other career you think you'd be in?
Fuck, I don't know. I'd be buying and selling something.
Yeah, because at 22, you said you wanted a pawn shop. Like, what 22-year-old wants a pawn shop?
Fucking Rick.
What made you?
I just always, my whole life, it's just like see a deal, like see an opportunity and seize it. Here's a great story. Okay. So this is like 22 years ago. It's my son, Jake. Yeah. He's a couple months old, and I'm living in the Northwest, and we had like dial-up internet back then, because we had no fiber optic, nothing up like that up there, no high-speed internet in the Northwest, way extreme Northwest. And wife at the time calls me up and says, like, can you go online and order me some Pody baby bottles? I'm going like, what? She goes, I was watching Oprah, and there's these really cool baby bottles for infants. And I'm going like, was it a rerun? She goes, no, because they were talking about this, this, and this, and this. So, it was a new episode. And you're a new mom with your first kid, and you think these baby bottles are so cool because you saw them on Oprah. You want to order some right now. She goes, yeah, will you order me some? I go, yeah. Like 10 minutes later, I'm going like, I know it's weird that a pawn shop wants 5,000 baby bottles. Where do I buy the money? And the guy thought I was crazy. I'm like, no, I want. He goes, don't you want just a few to try it out? I'm like, no, give me 5,000 of them, because I already had a crew of guys working on eBay. I sold the ball, made an extra $15,000 that month. Because I just saw an opportunity. And I got a ton of stories like that.
But you had to have the dough to order them.
Yeah.
So at 22 years old, how much dough did you have?
Well, this was 22 years ago, so I was like 38 at the time. No, when I was young, I had no dough. But like eventually, I was always making deals, always trying to figure out some way to make money. So when we opened the pawn shop, we didn't have a lot of money, but we were doing all right.
Who was funding the initial outflow of cash? Because once you're out, you're out. Did you ever?
There's a few guys here in town that I borrowed. Either some friends, family, some other people I borrowed money from. Some guys were charging an incredible amount of interest. But I got it done.
What do you think the average return on shit was?
Like I said, different things for different money. Probably like 80-90% return on everything. 50% profit margin on most things.
See, no, that's the reason to get into the pawn. That's why I wanted in, because I'm like, dude, they gave me like $300 for this bracelet, and it was like $3,000. Like, what the hell?
I know, but when you picked it up, I only made like 20.
What
$30
if I didn't? You would have got it for $300.
When you picked it up, I charged like $35 though.
Yeah,
I only made $35 for my $300.
Yeah, but I was assuming nobody was picking their shit up. I'm surprised to hear.
Like Larry said, when it comes to pawn stuff, 90% of the people pick their stuff up.
That's crazy. Don't you wish it was lower?
No.
Why?
How many times you pawn that bracelet?
Probably 20.
I made a lot of, because the day you don't pick it up, I lose a customer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want you pawning that thing over and over again. I'm sure you were late sometimes. I'm like, no problem. Come in late. I'll hold it for you.
Yeah. I didn't know I could be late, or I probably would have been.
Yeah.
It would have
been a little late charge. But
one time I had to borrow the money because it was time to get it or I'd lose it. I thought that's it. You lose it. And I was thinking, you some bitches want me to lose it because now.
No, I want you to pick it up because because most, people in the pawn, most customers in a pawn shop, they got that one item that they pawn when they need money. They lose that item. I just lost a customer for life. I want them to pick it up. I want them to come in, pawn it, pick it up, pawn it, pick it up. I want them to do that same thing. 20 years later, I want to see that person.
Well, fortunately, you didn't see me for more than maybe a couple years.
Okay.
Yeah, but dude, I'll tell you, you guys came in handy quite a few times. So in your opinion, what's the difference between a hustler, a scammer, and an entrepreneur?
A scammer is just a douchebag. A hustler is an entrepreneur that doesn't have his shit together.
And an entrepreneur is an entrepreneur.
Yeah. No, like a hustler guy hustling out, making money, just like, but like, he's always hustling for money, but like he doesn't got his shit together where he can turn it into something big. Just this same old hustle, same old hustle.
So you got a podcast now.
Yeah, we've got a podcast, Pawn After Dark. Me and Chum are doing it.
Yeah.
This is like Tracy, who's not on camera, who is she is also the brains of the operation on that one. We've been working together for infinity. Yeah. So she is the reason Pawn Stars is still on the air. She is the CEO of Rick Harrison Productions. She actually owns half of it. She could vote me out if she wanted to, but she'd never fire me.
but it's getting real popular from what I hear. You guys are bringing in your celebrity buddies. How many celebs have you met through the show?
Oh, tons. And then just from the show, and then just meeting people because the celebrity thing. Like, who are we having on in August? Huh? Oh, we got like Ron White coming on. I just had Bret Michaels has been a friend of mine for years and years. He was just on it. As a matter of fact, when Bret Michaels plays here in town, I always sing the last song on stage with him. The thing is, he just turns my mic down a lot.
And you're recognizable, obviously. So everywhere you go, or everybody walking up pictures. It's
crazy. In Latin America and Europe, it's even crazier.
So wherever you go, you're kind of swarmed. Do you ever regret that?
Yeah, sometimes I wish I could turn it off, but then again, being the celebrity things made me a lot of money.
How much money?
A lot.
How much do you get paid per episode? Someone else owns the show, technically. You just get paid for it, right?
And I also get residual. I was the first person ever in reality television to demand residuals.
And they're still playing everywhere.
Oh, we're on YouTube, we're on Hulu, we're on.
How do you know it's being played?
I get statements.
So you just trust
I
them?
get statements. Well, and I got auditors. I got a whole crew of people I pay really good money to make sure I get my money. Yeah. Because no one cares about my money like I care about my money.
Yeah, that's the truth. So if somebody plays or runs it on, what's it called? I forget the channel, but if there are a lot of reruns on that, like Gilligan's Island still playing.
Yeah.
You're getting paid every single time.
It depends. But like if you watch it on Hulu, I'm getting paid.
What kind of, like, do you make 10 cents? Do you make $10?
Well, generally there's an agreement between A&E Network and a different network on, they'll give them a package deal for a set of episodes. I mean, a number of episodes for a certain amount of time. And they'll just pay one price for that. And I get a percentage of that. And then there's like the YouTube, YouTube business model where, I get a percentage of that. And it's all these, there's a lot of different types of models for it, but I get paid in all of them.
Do you feel that you made a good deal?
I think so. Yeah.
How much do you make outside of it?
I do well. I do really well.
And they can't do nothing about that?
Well, no, because, like if you come to the pawn shop now, there's the whole gift shop. And I sell a couple of $1 million a year in t-shirts. And it's really interesting because I don't own the brand Pawn Stars. A&E Networks does. Oh, yeah. I forgot to turn off my phone. All right, hold on a second. I'm in the middle of a podcast, son. I love you. I'll talk to you later. All right. Well, here, let me turn this on silent. And turn my hearing aids off.
Who's the most famous person in your phone?
Eric Trump, Don Jr., maybe.
Can you, like, how do you know them?
Just friends? No, I started helping out Trump in like 2016. Became friends with Eric and Don, and Yeah, we hang out every once in a while.
What do you see as far as Bitcoin and crypto? Do you get into that?
No, because I still think it's fucking Dutch tulips. I mean, what the fuck can you buy with a Bitcoin?
Well, now anything.
Where can you go and buy it?
Anywhere.
No, where can you go buy? Can you go to 7-Eleven and buy a big gulp with a Bitcoin?
Not yet, but pretty soon.
Okay, because like by the time, like if you
and you theoretically could, because you put it on a digital card, and you use your card just like cash, and it just takes your Bitcoin.
Well, no, if you go in there with your Bitcoin, okay, if you have it on a card, okay, it's still just going to take best case scenario a half hour for it to go through.
No, it won't,
unless you pay gas fees.
No, dude, there's cards, just like a credit card.
But what are the fees on that?
Well, I don't have one. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. But no, and they're outrageous fees. Okay. So everyone's saying, it's not regulated. But like, you know what? I like my credit card because you know what? If someone steals my credit card and they blow up that credit card, I ain't got to pay for it. Credit card company's going to take care of it. Same thing with my debit card.
You have zero crypto?
Zero crypto.
You've never been in Bitcoin.
Yeah. Like, got plenty of gold and silver.
Did anybody ever?
But like the whole thing is though, it's like take Dogecoin. Who takes Dogecoin? Nobody. It's like because no one keeps it as a store of value.
Who takes gold?
Huh?
Who takes gold?
I can pick up the phone and sell gold.
You can't go to 7-Eleven and get gold. Get a big gulp with gold.
But if my phone crashes, I still got my gold.
You are old fashioned when it comes to Bitcoin. I used to think when it was $50 and I should have bought that shit.
Well, I know, like I should have bought it at $50 too, but just tell me, like, does anyone buy it? Anyone owns Bitcoin as a store of value? Everyone's buying it to make money on it. Okay. And that's where the problem lies. No one's keeping it as a store of money. Everyone's buying it to make money on it.
Yeah.
There's been so many stock market so many crashes in so many different markets because everyone buying something because they're just making money on it. They're not using it for something. They're not using a store of value, anything. I mean, you go back to like the 1600s and the Dutch when they're the futures market on tulips went insane and ran the country in a massive depression for years after that. But no one is buying it as a store of value. Okay. Everyone's buying it to make money. You see my problem there? No one's buying it to just hold on to it because I think it's worth something. Everyone's, it's
except the government, banks, like it's changing.
I know. I still don't see it as a currency though.
I'll tell you,
it's too volatile to be a currency.
When it was $50, I said the same exact thing when someone wanted me to get some. I said, well, where can you spend it? I go, can you buy a couch? My thing was a couch. I go, can you go buy a couch with it? He goes, no. I'm like, well, what do you do with it? He goes, well, you trade other people online. And I was barely online. I'm like, dude, I don't get it. Pass. That was $50. At some point, someone came into here.
Some people have made a lot of money off it, but millions. In the end, Bitcoin doesn't do anything. It's very, very, everyone's just speculating in it and no one's really investing in it. Everyone's just speculating in it.
Where do you see gold going?
I see it like $5,000 by next year.
Do you have gold laying around like big heavy weight, like you couldn't carry it out? Because you've been collecting gold forever.
Okay, no one has big giant bars of gold unless you go to like buy them off the comics. But you can go to my shop right now and buy 1 ounce gold bars.
Do you have
tons of silver? Yeah.
Do you have any like big unique jewelry pieces?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I have tons of. I mean, you can go in the shop right now and buy like 500 gram chains in my store.
Can you even get in there?
Yeah,
because I drove by a couple times. There was lines. Are those lines just to get in?
It just like on the weekends there can be big lines. There can be lines on the weekends, but during the week it's usually all right. You can just get in. During the week it's 1,500 people a day. That's all.
If somebody likes deals and retail jewelry stores whack you, would you be smarter to go to a pawn shop?
Oh, 100%. Okay. Believe it or not, when you go into Tiffany's and you buy that diamond ring for your girl, there's a very good chance that diamond came from a pawn shop.
Oh, no shit.
According to, I mean, this is federal law. According to the Federal Trade Commission, there is no such thing as a used diamond. What's the difference between a used diamond and a new diamond? Nothing. So like me, before I was, I had all, gazillions of people every day come in the shop and everything like that. Sometimes I'd get some big diamonds. I'd have a little cash crunch. I would gather up some diamonds. I'd go to New York. I'd go to the diamond district, and I would deal with those guys all day long and sell the diamonds. Okay. And like, then those guys are the ones who would sell it to jewelry stores, and there's no such thing as used diamond. So why go pay brand new price? Why go pay the crazy price when you go to a pawn shop, you get for half the price?
All right. So what are the negotiation practices that normal people, and they can walk into a pawn shop near them and coming from you, give us some secrets.
Well, the number one rule of negotiating is be willing to walk away. Number one, you're out in life buying a car, buying a house, everything. The deal's not right. Get up and walk away. Otherwise, they're just telling you the price. The other thing is, it's like, go online and do a little research, figure out what everyone else is selling it for, and then try and get a little cheaper.
Well, how do you know?
There's a million websites out there.
I know, but like, let's say I want a gold chain with a kick-ass whatever. Well, I see it at your shop. Is there a formula in my head that I can say, okay, he probably paid half of what he's asking? Like, is there a formula that you guys price things?
Okay, so if it's a big gold chain and you're at a pawn shop, okay, you can go online and figure out, like, what is the scrap value on this chain? All right?
That's probably what they paid.
And they probably paid less than that. Okay, so pay. And if it's a big chain, it's going to be hard for them to sell. So ask, go 20% over scrap or something like that. You get it that way. But like, just do your research. Just think logically. You know what I mean? Like, it's a gold chain. What's it worth with gold? What's the gold in it worth? And let me go. Now that we know exactly what the pawn shop can sell it for scrap, and they want more than scrap, so I'll give them 20% more.
So why do you think people still buy from jewelry stores?
They don't know any better. And then also, pawn shops got this terrible rap from like Hollywood. I mean, like, every movie, like, pawn shops were just so bad and seedy and everything like that. And that started like, the 60s they were doing that. But like before that, like literally up until the 1950s, pawn shops were a normal part of everyday life in all over America.
Yeah. That's hard. I mean, that's interesting. Because again, I mean, you do think they're like, seedy, like, if I go show you, hey, how much you give me for this? And you go, let me take it in the back. No. You're going to switch the diamonds. You're going to bring out a fake.
Yeah.
That's the reputation they have.
I like,
and they won't give you much. So it's like, I always thought, like, if I'm going to buy some jewelry, because who gives a shit? I don't care if that's new, used. I don't give a shit.
And a lot of that comes along because people are just, okay. So, I've had this happen so many times. Like, they bring in grandma's wedding ring, they want to pawn it or something like that. And, and the diamond's a piece of shit. I tell the piece of junk, well, no, that's not. But grandma told me that was a perfect diamond. I'm like, no, grandpa was fucking cheap and it's not a perfect diamond. Okay. Or they pawn, their ring a couple times. Someone gets, she gets an engagement ring for her boyfriend or, and then pawns it a couple times. And then she goes to sell it one day and like, oh, this diamond's a piece of shit. Oh, they obviously, replace the diamond. No, it was always a piece of shit.
Have you ever not had the cash to do a deal?
Yeah, there was like back in the day, yeah, but not anymore.
But I mean, at some point, like, you couldn't do the deal, even though you would have had you had the money.
Oh yeah, there was plenty of times back in the day with that.
What was that number?
Like people coming in with a couple $100,000 worth of jewelry. I mean, this is talking early on. Yeah, when I just didn't have the money. I mean, it took me years to because every time I made money, next thing you know, I'm pawning more shit. And I am putting more money on the street, more, and it took me like 10 years to get a couple $1 million loaned out. And after that, everything was fine.
If right now you pressed a button and all the money you got out was returned, how much would it be?
I don't pawn a lot anymore.
Really? You think the show changed that?
Oh, it changed the business model. Okay. And one of my things with business is evolve or die. Okay. I have tons of people come in there and sell me stuff, but they really don't come in there and pawn as much anymore. It's more of a tourist destination, and a place to go sell your stuff. People really don't go in there for loans. No one's going to wait in line to pawn their TV.
Do you have connections or friends that you'll ask first if they want it before you get rid of it?
Not really. I mean, I'm going to get the most. I'm literally going to sell it for the most I can, no matter what.
So like, what if you're like, nobody really wants that painting?
Well, that maybe, yeah, okay.
Because I want to be that guy where you just see if I'll take it. Because I'm thinking, dude, there's got to be somebody where like you couldn't find the buyer, but I could.
Well, yeah, no. A lot of times I can't find a buyer. I can't sell it right away. Like I'll call up a friend, like, "Hey, dude, you want this?" Yeah. If I can't find a buyer on my own.
You ever get titles to properties?
That I don't want to deal with. That's just too much fucking brain damage. Yeah, start getting, and then there's a lot of weird federal laws when you start doing on that. So that's just not something I'm going to deal with.
What are the biggest problems a pawn shop faces?
Well, there's a ton of regulation. We're like massively regulated. But there's the security thing. There's a lot of money there. So smaller pawn shops get robbed a lot.
You ever been robbed?
Other pawn shops in town haven't. Because I got like 10 or 12 guys in there carrying guns. It's not really bright to rob my pawn shop when you go down the street where they're not wearing guns.
Well, folks, I'm trying to get you guys some value. So when you go out, you need some money, you can go in and negotiate wisely. 20% over just scrap weight would probably.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a pawn shop, like just offer them like 20% over scrap. They'll probably sell it to you.
What about art?
Art's a tough subject, dude. I mean, it's like you really got to know what you're doing. Like everyone thinks like Picasso, they're so damn expensive. There's Picassos out there that are $500. Because Picasso was kind of a whore. He was always really, really bad with his money. So he would, he'd go out there and make a bunch of sketches, make 500 copies of them, sign each copy, and then sell them off. And back in the day, he was selling these things for $50, $60 a piece. Now they're worth, $500, $5,000. Just depends on what it is.
But it's a real one?
So, I mean, you can go look at a Picasso, and you got two Picassos, okay? Both both black and white, both kind of similar. And this one right here, there's 50 of them. And this one over here, there's 1,000 of them. This one's worth a lot more money. And you really got to know the difference.
Where do you look up those things?
There is multiple paid websites that will give you like art prices. But you have to pay. It's like $100 a month.
Another thing you guys could create a digital website called, Pawn Stars Value Guide. You got that? Well, I know, but like, how the lawyer, one time he was a lawyer and he came up with this little thing called LegalZoom, which eliminated the need for him and it made him $1 billion. I'm thinking like that. Like, again, I mean,
what sounds like, I mean, there's a few people doing that right now.
Because I want to know what shit's worth. What is this watch worth right now? Now you could say, "Oh, I'll give you $30,000," and I go, "Well, what's it worth?" And I find out, no, dude, that's worth about $80,000.
I mean, there's some companies that do that. God, I forget the name of it. Chrono something. They put out they got a website that you can subscribe to. They give
watches
that like daily, market reports on watches. There's an app right now out there where you can just take a coin. Take a picture of it. It'll tell you what it's worth to a degree because the app really can kind of grade it, but like it's not really graded until it's gone to a professional graded company.
All right, last question because I know you got to roll. What is something that could be in anybody's home right now that could end up being worth $5-10,000 that they'd have no clue about? Like whether it's a fucking figurine, whether it's a fucking silver spoon.
There's so much stuff. There's copies of the Declaration of Independence that are still out there. No one knows where they're at. I just paid a couple of years ago. I paid $1.5 million for one.
What'd you sell it for?
2. Yeah, okay, 2. She's the brains of the operation right there.
So what's something that like, hey, if go look in your baseball card collection, and if you got one of these, little known,
there's baseball card. It's kind of easier to look it up with a book than online because well, for me anyway. But they're like old baseball cards, old comic books, certain old postcards. There's so many people out there that collect the stupidest shit. I mean, there's $10,000 Pez dispensers.
No shit.
Yeah.
What about Beanie Babies? My wife still has all her Beanie Babies.
She's fucked.
Dude, that's the thing. It's like I always picked the shit, dude. When I first started getting watches, I started buying Hublots because I liked them. But then, I'd pay $40,000 for that. And then, like, next thing you know, it's worth $15,000 if you can find someone who wants it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. And so I quit buying Hublots and I started buying Rolexes.
And everybody wants a Rolex. It's the standard.
Those are the ones that.
By the way, did you know that Rolex has never made a Rolex president? They've never made that model. It's a date. You know why it's called a president?
Why?
And this is one of the reasons why Rolex has got so popular. With John F. Kennedy, his inaugural speech, he had a Rolex date on his hand, and everyone started calling it the presidential.
Yeah, I still call it. And the presidential has that bracelet, right? I mean, yes. The date.
Yeah, the date, yeah.
Is there any dates without that?
No, I mean, there's a few iterations of that. Like in the 80s, they had the bark finish, which is like, I don't know what they were thinking. And there was a few little iterations on it, but that's basically the standard bracelet.
Do you know the most sought after rollies right now of today?
Oh, the old chronographs.
Which ones are those?
Oh, with the stopwatch, like early 70s, 1960s, everyone wants those.
Well, because people call me now and again, it's like, hey, you want the Pepsi? I'm like,
oh yeah, so like
Hulk, it's like you want.
Those are really sought after for. I know, like those are like we're talking $20,000, $15,000 to $30,000 range. Now, when we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's the old chronographs and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, what about the like? Because people call me when they need money for some reason. I'm like a personal pawn guy.
Yeah,
which I don't know why, because I don't buy a bunch of shit, but they'll call me and say, hey, you want my green Rolex? I'm like, I don't wear green, but I also want to keep an eye out. Like, no, that one's soft.
Well, you got to be careful of that too, because they'll take you can take a Submariner, okay, and then take the dial off, put an aftermarket green dial on it, put an aftermarket green bezel on it. Now you have a Hulk.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
but it's not the real one.
No, because unless you really know what you're looking for the right dial and the right bezel, you can get burnt.
All right, I said last question, but I got one more. Aftermarket on rollies or leave them alone?
Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Yeah, I have seen people fuck up money so bad. Like I've seen early 1960s like Submariners that are worth $50,000-$60,000. And well, no, I got the dial replaced because it was looking really ugly. Or like you just fucked yourself. Yeah.
Damn.
Keep them. Do not change them. Do not change them. Do not replace that dial. Do not replace those hands. Do anything. Keep it the way it is. The watch collectors, they're really anal about that. Anything like aftermarket, they don't want it.
There you go, folks. You just got the best advice from the dude that's been doing it a while. Go check out his podcast called Pawn After Dark. It's all probably everywhere podcasts are. He's bringing on the big celebs, talking trash. You guys are drinking, smoking, having fun, probably getting some.
Every once in a while, me and Chum will talk some conspiracy theories.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
You know what? I used to not believe in the conspiracy theories, but anymore I feel like they're no longer conspiracy theories. They're just spoiler reports.
It seems like that.
Yeah.
What about the dumbest one I've ever felt like I'm like going, dude, that is kind of fucking curious. Flat Earth. Isn't that the dumbest fucking
it's
ever?
The dumbest fucking thing.
I know, but have you ever listened to some of their questions? And I'm like, well, dude, that does fucking make sense. Like, I wonder why that is. And no one can ever explain why. And it's like, well, why would they care if they thought we were on a planet or not? Well, they don't want you to believe in God. And I'm like, who's they? Satanists. It's like, okay, well, that's all. Yeah, whatever. But they have one where, and you can look these up because I did, historical records of flights that had issues. So like they'll say, look on a globe and say this flight took off from Asia. And I'm just making it up, so nobody fact check me, but this is essentially what they do. Okay, this plane left from Asia, 80 minutes into the flight, they had this fucking issue, which you can verify. And so they landed in LA and then took back off after it was fixed and went to where they were going. And then when you put it on a flat earth, it goes from here straight line to where they were going. And if they had a problem, of course, they'd just fucking land. Where on a flat earth, it matches. But on a globe, it's like, why would they fly 1,000 miles that way? It's weird. Now, again, I don't believe it.
Because they're looking at like these. I mean, they're looking at they look at a flat map and they see the curve that the plane's flying on. But if you take, because a flat map, the tops and the bottom are distorted, massively distorted. You know, like you look at Greenland on a flat map, it's huge. If you look at a globe, it's small because the farther you get north, the more it's expanded. I mean, trust me. I mean, like I know the world is not flat because last week I was in Brazil and it was wintertime and the days were a lot shorter.
So what conspiracies do you know that people think are still conspiracies?
Well, I mean, 100%. I do not believe that Oswald killed JFK. Not at all. I mean, okay. So like in the 90s, I actually, this is when I still dealt in guns and everything in the pawn shop. Someone came in with a 6.5 Carcano, the same exact gun that Oswald supposedly killed the president with. And we took it out to the gun range and we put it in a vise. We put it in a gun vise. And at 100 yards, literally, like a foot from the center of the target. Next shot, a foot and a half away. There's no way that it was the worst gun in the world. There's no way this thing could ever shoot straight. He could have never done it. And there's a lot of other things. I have my personal favorite conspiracy on who killed JFK. I think it was the Fed. Because in 1963, John F. Kennedy started printing U.S. notes. He said "F you" to the Federal Reserve, and they actually put them out in circulation. At the top, it didn't say Federal Reserve; it said U.S. note. He told the Treasury and the Bureau of Printing and Engraving, just print the notes. We're not going to borrow the money from the Federal Reserve. And after he was assassinated, one of the very first things Johnson did was get rid of that whole program. Think about it.
Well, I think the files came out on that. JFK was
they still not released. They still haven't released everything.
What about the Epstein list?
Okay, so like that Maxwell girl or whatever, she was convicted of like trafficking young women to who? And we know like Prince Andrew from England was a super, chomo, and he was hanging out with Epstein. So they're saying there's no list or anything, but like, there's not like an actual list, but we want to know who was down at Epstein Islands, like being a creepy fuck.
Why do you think they're not releasing it? Because of who's
Dude,
on it?
I have no idea.
It's got to be because who's on it, Rick.
100%. 100%. There's like some people on there that people are going to go like, oh, fuck.
Which means that there is some elite.
I love Trump. I think he's done great things for the economy. He's a great American and everything like that. Like I think this is political suicide. You got to do it. You promised you'd do it, and now you're not. And now they're not doing it.
And they're acting like it doesn't exist all of a sudden. They're saying like point blank doesn't exist. Well, what do you mean it doesn't exist? Doesn't exist anymore, or it's never existed?
Because like a couple of months ago, Pam Bondi's like saying like
it's on my desk.
Well, it's on my desk and I'm reviewing it.
Yeah. No, what she meant was the files.
So release the fuck. At this point, you need to release the files.
And then Kash Patel says, we watched the video. He didn't commit suicide. Then the video has a 1 minute missing.
Okay.
Oh, that's because it resets.
Okay, you want to hear some bullshit? Okay. They're showing you video of a fucking cell door. Whose fucking cell door? Right?
Yeah.
It's just a cell door. You don't know if fucking Epstein's in there.
So those are all, like you said, those are all spoilers. Those aren't conspiracies.
Okay. I'm just saying, dude, it's like the guards were asleep, which was really convenient. And then
cameras didn't work.
The cameras didn't work. And like, yeah. It just seemed a little bit too damn convenient. So, I know the government is incompetent, but that generally they're not that incompetent.
No, that was purposeful.
Yeah.
And it could be that he's not even dead.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me either.
Dude, when I was looking at the pictures, when they were showing the pictures, I'm like, doesn't even fucking look like him. Some people say he's still alive.
Well, you think about this, okay? If the files are so bad and so crazy like that, and he had shit on all these people, and he had like, the doomsday button. Like he told me, even if you fucking whack me, I got, 14 guys in the internet that's going to release all this shit. They're saying like, all right, let's get him out of there. We'll kill somebody. We'll put him in his place. And then he could live on some fucking island somewhere. I don't know. But
that's believable.
It wouldn't, at this point, it wouldn't shock me. Okay. A few days ago, I would be a little less, but now I'm thinking like, yeah, there's something fishy going on.
You guys get deep on the podcast with stuff like this?
We had like a whole podcast on, is there gold in the Federal Reserve? Yep. I mean, at Fort Knox, excuse me.
Do you think there is?
Fuck, I don't, dude, like, why won't they let the public see it?
How about the president? Can the president see?
Oh yeah, 100%. He can say, do an audit. Let's open up the vaults.
I thought he did.
But we never got to see it.
So nothing ever came of that?
There's never, the last time it was audited was only like one vault, and it was like 1973.
What if it was empty? What would that mean?
That would mean the price of gold would be like $50,000 next week, and the value of the dollar would drop like a rock.
We don't want that, folks. You want more inside information? Go listen to Pawn After Dark. Obviously, he's all over social media. You can follow him. Where do they follow him? Rick_Harrison. And as always, till next time, keep it real. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Thanks.